Yes. What I was doing earlier was a recap. It was a recap of what we had done last week. I was even giving answers to the questions that I had asked. So now this week, we are talking about notices. I've been asked to repeat by Isaac, so I will repeat. And a notice is sent to everyone required to be present during a meeting. This enables the people to arrange and prepare for the meeting. It can be sent through SMS, text messages, phone calls, memos, etc. Now, the duration, the time that the notice should be given is dictated by your standing orders, the rules that govern your meeting. So, the notice of an ordinary meeting can be 1 week, and an AGM, annual general meeting, is 14 days. Now, without adequate notice, a meeting can be deemed invalid. So notices are very important, and it is important to keep the record of the notice. What should be included in the notice? You must have a date, a time, and the place, the venue for the meeting. Then we've gone to the purpose of notice. Now, the purpose of the notice is to invite people for meetings, but there are other purposes. The second one is to inform staff members of forthcoming events. To inform staff members of forthcoming events. Another one is to convey urgent messages. So Maundu tried to say that if there's an inconvenience, you can use the notice. I think the notice is very slow. Afadhali SMS or a phone call. That one will be faster. Even WhatsApp is faster. A message on Twitter, Insta, those are faster now than notices. So to convey urgent messages, you may use a notice. And finally, to advertise vacancies internally. So let me just give an example of a notice that can be of use. Maybe you can put a notice on the website, the school website. But that one is when there's a lot of time. Yeah? Like say, for example, you are to report in 2 weeks. I can put that notice on the website. I hope you will be reminded of the exam that will be in January. So when you are at home in December, they can give exam. So I've begun from notices, Isaac. I hope you're hearing me. The type of notice that is given to those who have not paid their rent. And why is it given after 3 months? That is a legal, it is a legal technicality. When you start renting somebody's house, this is a question from Charles Oduma. If you can look at your message boards, you'll see. Ameuliza, which type of notice is given to those who haven't paid their rent? And why is it given after 3 months? So when you lease a house, you're supposed to have a lease agreement. So in this lease agreement, it stipulates what type of house you're leasing, the space that is available. It gives the rules and regulations. So after you have signed the lease, there are rules. They tell you if you can do alterations to the house or not, and then there's a clause there in the lease agreement that says if you miss to pay rent for 2 months, they will first notify you with letters. Then after 2 months, if you don't respond to those letters accordingly, either you start paying installments or you give reasons why you've not started paying. The third one is a notification from an auctioneer. You are given 12 days to respond. If you don't respond, the auctioneer will come to do a valuation. And then after they've done the valuation, they are going to seize certain assets from your house. They are going to seize certain assets from your house. They advertise those and they auction to recover their money. But so this one, you have to understand the laws that govern rents. You are not supposed to be thrown out of a house or locked out of a house until they have done those things. But now we are going off there. That is not our agenda. Our agenda was just to talk about documents that are used during meetings. So the purpose of notices, it is to invite people for meetings. We've talked about it. To inform staff members of forthcoming events, to convey urgent messages, and to advertise vacancies internally. Any questions about what a notice is and the purpose? Any question about what a notice is and the purpose? Let me just draw your attention to some answers from Joe. It is due to the deposit money you paid and also you're given time to find another house. There are some humane reasons why landlords do what they do.
I had a question.
Yes.
About meeting. So it was explained.
Yes.
When it is best
to
use the following conference seating plan.
Explain when it is best to use the following
seating plan.
Yes.
The first one was theater style.
Dear?
Theater style. Number 2 is U-shaped style.
U-shaped style.
Then classroom style.
Okay.
Then finally boardroom style.
Okay, Douglas, please type your question. In the meantime, there's another one. Outline disadvantages of holding meetings in an organization. Outline disadvantages of holding meetings in an organization. Any disadvantages? Any disadvantages? Let me just tell you one. Now, because of COVID, we have been discouraged from convening in one place because it is seen as a super spreader. Yeah. So that could be one disadvantage. One could catch an infection during the meeting. Okay, that could be one disadvantage. Another disadvantage of holding meetings in an organization, they take up a lot of time. Let me give an example. Several of you have missed some classes. I have told you I am going to a meeting. Yeah. So it is taking me away from the classroom and I have to be at the meeting. So one thing has to suffer at the expense of another. Douglas, I've seen your question. Other disadvantages of holding meetings in an organization? Other disadvantages?
Yes, I can say one.
Yes.
Only the loudest people can be heard can participate, can dominate in the meeting.
Okay, but that is only if the chairman is not effective.
Yes.
Yeah. If the chairman is effective, you can summarize what the loudest person is saying, and then you give a quiet person a chance. So that depends on the skill of the chairman. Another one?
I think it may lead to the fire of some employees. Some employee may be fired due to some misbehavior or misconduct.
No.
How?
You don't fire someone because they have misbehaved in a meeting.
I think there is.
Mbona
They
iko na
can be fired. Okay, very good. Someone is saying there is no flexibility. Now, Isaac, no flexibility where? In the meeting.
Yes.
Isaac, please explain your answer. There is no flexibility. Flexibility where? Isaac, I'm still waiting for you to explain. In the meantime, I'm talking about Douglas Nyabera's question. Briefly explain when it is best to use each of the following conference seating plans. Theater style. Now, theater style, I don't know if you know your lecture theater. You have different levels. Now, that one is good because, number one, you can see everybody. You can see everybody. Number two, you can seat very many people. You can seat very many people. And then, if it's a room where you have mics and translators, all those facilities are catered for at the booth of every individual. So for international conferences, you'll find the theater style to allow for translations, to allow for the mics, to allow for a team to sit at a certain point. So the head of the delegation might go with 2 or 3 other people, and you can organize them in that sort of style. Then the U-shaped style, that one is good for group counseling. You sit maybe in a circle, yeah? You face each other. It is a more intimate sort of arrangement, and it is for small groups. It's not for very large groups. Then Collins Onyango has mentioned another disadvantage of meetings. It takes up a lot of resources, like money for buying drinks and snacks, yes, refreshments. So you have to spend money on refreshments. That is another disadvantage. So theater style, I've said, U-shaped style, I've said. Classroom style, this is not favored much. But when you have to accommodate very many people in a limited space, a small venue, then you use the classroom style. Our classroom style, there's also the psychological implication. Normally people sit at a higher stage. It's a power play. Okay. So the person in the position of power anasimama mbele kwa dais. Alafu wale walala hoi wanaketi kwa class. Unaona? So it is also intimidating, yeah? So people don't like it. So, but when you have limited space, you may have to go for classroom style. Then the boardroom.
Excuse me.
Yes.
So I'm asking,
Yes.
according to Collins Onyango's disadvantage,
Yes.
wastage of resources like money for buying drinks and snacks.
Yes.
So if we attend a meeting,
Yes.
which will require many hours, many
Yes.
sitting hours,
Yeah.
so members should not refresh or eat.
They will, and that's why he's saying it is
Yes.
expensive.
It is expensive.
It is expensive.
But my concern is,
Yes.
if we fetch that explanation,
Yes.
we can say that it has an advantage also.
Yes.
Yeah, it has also an advantage. So the way you frame your answer is what is important.
Yes. Because some people might come just because they are refreshments. You know, there are people like that. If refreshments are there, that's when they'll come. And then there are others who are eating to live. They are eating because
Those are
They have
public
to
meetings.
take a bio break. You have to go to the bathroom. You have to eat while you are working, isn't it?
So it depends with the meeting, right?
Yes, it depends on your view, on your point of view.
Okay, so there are some members that can come and just swallow everything.
There are
Leave.
some who, in fact, the snacks and refreshments are distraction.
Okay.
Once they come, they are no longer productive. Their part will just be eating. Unless, again, I've told you, how you chair the meeting is very important. It's you are going to control. You see the way I'm talking to you, I'm seeing what people are doing, I'm commenting. So when you chair the meeting, you also do that. And then you look at the people and how they are participating. The quiet ones, you also try to get an answer from them. So we were talking about the notice. Any questions about the notice, the purpose? The purpose of notices. Yes.
Question.
Yes.
What are these advantages and disadvantages of notices?
The advantages and disadvantages of notices.
Yes.
One advantage of notices is that they do not consume a lot of time. They don't consume a lot of time, and you can reach very many people. You can reach very many people using the notice, just one notice. Then they are convenient for urgent messages. They are not time consuming. They are not very long, yeah? So they are not consuming. They are convenient for urgent messages. The next one, they can be read by everyone in the office. They can be read by everyone in the office.
Excuse me at that point.
Yes.
How do you say that they can be read by everyone in the office?
Yes.
And I think an office,
Mm-hmm.
in a complete office,
Yes.
will include different individuals. For example,
Yes.
people who are unable to see,
Yes.
visually impaired, people
Yes.
with disabilities.
Yes.
So how can those people read the information?
They have different kind of, they have special kind of braille. They have special kind of writing for them. So if you have that individual and you're the secretary,
Yes.
you ensure you prepare a notice for that person. It won't be put on the notice board.
Yeah.
It's just going to be given to that person, like
Yes.
the way we give letters.
Okay. So actually,
Yes,
is it appropriate that office
yes,
cannot be read with the actually? Let us talk about this level of education.
yes,
So in an organization or in an office,
yes.
you can get individuals who never acquired much education,
Mm-hmm.
so they cannot understand to the detail of the note.
Mm-hmm.
So that can bring impact for that point that can be read by everyone in the office.
Yeah, they can be read by everyone in the office because most people in that organization are literate.
Yes.
They are able-bodied.
Yes.
So the majority will be served by a notice.
Okay. Majority.
Yeah.
So, madam,
Yes.
so it is majority, not everybody.
Yeah, they can be read by most people in the office. Let's say that.
Okay.
Yeah. Then it saves the cost of writing and circulating individual correspondence. It saves the cost of writing and circulating individual correspondence. So with the exception of the ones with special needs, you are going to do one notice for very many people. But depending, if you have very many members, then, or if you have special needs members, then those special needs members, you will make special arrangements for them. Thank you very much. Nowadays, we have to take that into account. We have to take into account everybody. Let's go to disadvantages. Disadvantages of notices. They are easily ignored. They are easily ignored. I'll just give an example. How many of you used to look at your notice boards when you are in Kabete?
So actually, individuals are different.
Yes.
According to me, I see all the notices in all
Where when
departments.
you're Moja Ule, the others don't.
Okay, so
Yes.
I cannot talk in general.
Yes, others don't. Even me, I don't.
You don't.
I don't. I started paying attention to notices after we were told to work from home.
You are
That's when
misleading us because
I
yeah.
started looking at our wall. I started looking at the website in case of anything. And I started calling people who are in Kabete to find out the latest. But otherwise, when there was no COVID, I never used to look at notices.
So which actually, how can you help the people who are like you?
Then you use SMS. You send an SMS or you call. But SMS is better, the bulk SMS.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, it goes to somebody's phone and somebody must check. Unaona? So they are easily ignored. Number two, there is lack of feedback. There is lack of feedback. So we don't ask for feedback. We just tell people there is a meeting and where they should come. So if you want your notice to be good, you can give maybe a telephone number, RSVP. Let me give an example of the wedding cards or these cards for Harambee, where huwa unasema RSVP, meaning people must respond. The ones who are coming to the wedding must tell you they are coming so that you plan for their meal. But our notices, we don't ask for RSVP. We put a notice there and we leave it there. Okay. Okay. So there's no feedback. Utajua siku ya mkutano, how many people will turn up. Then it can be pulled out before being read by all. It can be pulled out before being read by all. So somebody can either come and put another notice on top or can pull it out, especially the ones who are not paying attention to the dates. Normally, to take care of a notice board, you must look at the dates. Zile still, the ones that the news is already passed, you pull them out. Then the ones that are still relevant, you leave them on. But sometimes people pull out even before the notice has been read by all. Isaac Buru is saying that they are prone to distortion. Okay, some people deface the notices. Yes, some very bad people, indisciplined people can either, like I told you, they can even put another notice on top. So depending on the way to prevent that, you can have a glass over the notice board so that only one person has the key. And they are the one person who can put the notice and who can remove the notice. So some organizations have notice boards with glass on top. Also, the glass prevents rain from raining on your notice boards. So, but they are prone to distortion. Distortion is like if somebody defaces the notice board, they either put something on top or they write on it. If you have indisciplined people, they do such things. Then they can only be used to pass general information. So you can only use a notice to give information that can be read by everyone. If you're going to fire someone or if disciplinary action is being taken against someone, you cannot use a notice. You use a letter or you call that person physically to your office. So it can only be used to pass general information like exams, admission dates, sports, upcoming sports events, and things like that. So for confidential information, you cannot use notices. And finally, they lack the personal touch. In a letter, you can say, Dear Musembi Musyoka. In a notice, you say, to all students. You see? So the letter is more personal. It has a more personal touch. Then features of notices. What makes a notice effective? Features of notices. So features, what makes a notice effective? The message should be short and clear. The message should be short and clear. The message should be short and clear. The next point, the heading should be large and vivid. The heading should be large and vivid. Someone has told me of another disadvantage. It takes time to distribute notices around big organizations. So it's time consuming. You have to have someone distributing the notices. It will take some time. So let's go to the features of notices. Messages should be short and clear. The heading should be large and vivid. The text should be well spaced out. So if you have an A4 paper, it should be distributed well in that A4 paper. If you have an A3 paper, it should be distributed well in that A3 paper. So the text should be well spaced out. The next number, you can use color and graphics to attract attention. You can use color and graphics to attract attention. Let me give an example. In hospitals, I really like this one of the nurse saying silence, and they have their finger on top of their mouth. Silence. So you can use the text and the graphics and color to attract attention. Then the writing should be large enough.
Excuse me,
Yes.
it's Jacob.
Yes.
Why are you using color and graphics yet we are not advertising?
Because of some notices. Let's say, for example, the one in the one saying no admission beyond this point. You don't need graphics, but it can be read. No admission only or staff only. The writing staff only can be white, but the background can be blue. Unaona? It will attract your attention. An example again of entrance and exit hapa kwa supermarkets. The exit and the entrance, the writing is in white, but the background is in green. So color also plays a role because it attracts your attention. It attracts your attention. Even the size of the letters attracts your attention. So I've said writing should be large enough to be seen from a distance. Moses Inanga is saying, for a notice to be effective, you should use formal language. Yes. Don't use Sheng, because people might start doubting the integrity and the source. So it needs to be formal, not only formal, correct grammar, correct punctuation. Those ones help people to take you seriously. Correct spelling. Now, a good question, Josephat Karanja. How do you tell a fake notice? Look out for the official stamp and signature of the school. Look out for the official seal. Let me give an example. The seal is put on your receipt. It tells the cashier which receipt is fake and which one is real. So always look out for a signature and an official stamp. People can get a hold of the logo. People can get a hold of the get a hold of the logo, and they can also get a hold of the letterhead, but they cannot get a stamp. Okay. So once something is stamped, you take it seriously because it's coming from that original office. Then graphics also help the illiterate. And of course, very good. Graphics help the people who are illiterate. Very good.
How?
Yeah, graphics can be used for people who cannot read because they may be able to understand the graphic or the sign.
The sign.
Yeah.
So can we include signs in notices?
Ndio nimesema use graphics and color, and then mmoja wenyu alikuwa anakataa. So somebody is telling them they help the people who cannot read, even a foreign language.
Notice are formal. So if you cannot read, then you cannot understand the notice.
Sasa,
Yes.
like unaona something like BBI. BBI, we want to reach as many people as possible, even the shows.
BBI, yes.
Yes, you use vernacular, you use pictures, you use signs, everything, because you want as many people as possible.
Is BBI a notice?
Sijasikia swali.
Is BBI a notice?
They will come up with notices. It's a campaign, and they are going to come up with notices.
Okay, but BBI is not a notice.
It is not a notice. It's a very big document.
Yeah. So how comes a formal document can be understood using graphics? They think graphics.
Yes. It's for adverts only.
Graphics is just changing the colors of the font, putting it to bold. Those are the graphics that you're talking about.
Okay, now nipatie assignment, nitakuletea notice ya hizo vile nimesema, yenye iko na graphic, yenye iko na color na ni notice.
Actually, so something with the graphic picture, is it formal?
I'm going to bring you a notice. In fact, I'll bring you several notices.
Formal one.
Formal notices. Okay. I've already given an example. A nurse putting her finger on her mouth in a hospital, and they've written silence. That is a formal notice.
We have discussed that a notice should be stipulated with date and time and signature. So
hiyo ni ya meeting. Hiyo ni notice ya meeting. What you should include kwa notice ya meeting. There's another notice ile inasema men at work.
So we have different types of notices.
Yes. So mimi naongea about
a sign or a notice. That is a sign.
Okay, excuse. Yeah.
No, that
okay, another notice inaweza kuwa this ya COVID inaonyesha a person wearing a mask.
A mask,
See,
yes.
And that's a notice.
Notices.
Yeah.
How to wear a mask.
Yes. So are they formal notices?
Those are formal notices. So I'm going to give very many examples, and then we'll talk about notices. Sasa we'll talk about notices, not just notice with regard to meetings. Now we'll just talk about the notice. Now I was talking about the notice of a meeting, and that's when I was saying it has to have a date and a time. Isaac, I'll send you notes. And then he's asking, Zawachawi hazina signature. I'll tell you formal notices, informal notices. Maybe even that Mchawi is illiterate. So I'm just going to give examples of notices. Then we'll talk about notices. But this one we were talking about the notice of a meeting. Let's move to the agenda. The agenda means things to be acted upon. It is a list of items to be discussed, and it is sometimes sent together with the notice of a meeting. Sometimes it is sent together with the notice of a meeting. Now, the members of a meeting are given a chance to consider in advance, what they should ask, say, and do. So you are given a chance to consider what you should ask, say, and do. If you are to prepare documents, you can prepare, especially when you have the agenda. So it is essential to let participants know the content of the meeting before they arrive. And the agenda includes items for discussion during the meeting. It includes items for discussion during the meeting. And then let's talk about the standard agenda items. Standard agenda items. So the first item is apologies for absence. In all agenda items or in all standard agenda, you will always have apologies for absence. Apologies for absence. The second one is reading and confirmation. Reading and confirmation of previous minutes. Reading and confirmation of previous minutes. Then you have matters arising. Matters arising from previous minutes. Matters arising from previous minutes. Then you have correspondence. Correspondence. And after correspondence, you have any other business, in brackets A or B. Any other business, in brackets A or B. And the final standard item is date and time of the next meeting. Date and time of the next meeting. In brackets, adjournment. So now, between matters arising and correspondence, between matters arising and correspondence, you can fix any new business. Between matters arising and correspondence, you can fix any new business that is to be discussed during that meeting. But these other items, they are always there on the agenda. Whether you are told in a question or not, you must include them. Then let's go to agenda of an AGM. Agenda of an AGM. So an annual general meeting is required by law for all public companies. So agenda of an AGM. So you have the standard items. The first one is apologies for absence. In the agenda of an AGM, the first item is apologies for absence. And an AGM, you know, it can be a very big company. So the secretary just has a list. Hata sikia one by one, huh? It's a list which will be tabled. Then you go to reading and confirmation of previous minutes. Reading and confirmation of previous minutes. So that is the second item. The third item is matters arising from previous minutes. Matters arising from previous minutes. The next item is the chairman's report. The chairman's report. After the chairman's report, we have the treasurer's report. Treasurer's report. After the treasurer's report, we have elections. After the treasurer's report, we have elections. After elections, we have declaring of dividends. Declaring of dividends. And finally, we have any other business. Any other business.
Excuse
Any
Madam.
questions? Yes.
What is included in declaring of dividends?
Declaring of dividends, you will just be told what percentage of the profits you are going to get as a shareholder in that company. So you can say the dividends were declared at 10%. So if you have shares worth 10,000 shillings and they declare dividends of 10%, then your dividends will be 1,000 shillings, 10% of your shares. So normally members are given a chance to discuss. Members are given a chance to discuss. Because some people say our dividends or our money is being used inappropriately, or we are not getting a fair share. Yeah? So you discuss, and then the dividends are declared. And then there are some, like for example, me, I'm a member of a SACCO. There's something called SASRA, the regulator of SACCOs. They also give a minimum which can be declared, which the SACCO cannot go below. Yeah. They give a minimum. Sorry for that. Somebody is trying to call me. I'll call them back at 3. So the importance of agenda, it is to let members know in advance in order to prepare. To let members know in advance in order to prepare. To let members know in advance in order to prepare. The next one, to guide the proceedings of the meeting. To guide the proceedings of the meeting. So the first one was to let members know in advance in order to prepare. The second one is to guide the proceedings of the meeting. The third one, to act as a guide in minute writing. To act as a guide in minute writing. To act as a guide in minute writing. And finally, to provide for future records. To provide for future records. Now I have an example have an example of, I don't know if I can take a picture and share, but then I'll also send these minutes. We are about to finish, so let's go to the minutes. The minutes are an accurate written record, an accurate written record of meetings, an accurate written record of meetings. So it's an accurate written record of meetings. So minutes are just a written record of what happened during the meeting. And it's usually the role of the secretary to record. So it's an accurate written record. It's supposed to be taken by the secretary. And at the top, the title of the minutes, you state the name of the organization that is meeting, when they are meeting, and where the meeting is being held. So you say who is meeting. You can say Uchapishaji Club is meeting on Wednesday in the main hall at 2 p.m. So you have to mention all those at the title of the minutes. You will see the one I will send. You will see the one I will send, and you're going to see all those items. After that, you have something like a register, starting with the members present. You have something like a register, starting with the members present. And you start with the chairman, the secretary, the treasurer, and then the rest of the people. You are going to list those who are absent with apologies. Those who are absent with apologies. So the ones who said they could not make the meeting and gave a reason. Absent with apologies. Then after that, you can list the ones who are absent without apology. Absent without apology. And then you can have a section called in attendance. All your invited guests in attendance. All your invited guests. So they are not members of the group, but they've been invited to your meeting. It's called in attendance. So Douglas is telling me the formatting of a notice, not graphics. We'll clarify that in the next. When I bring the sample notices. I'll also still bring the sample of the notice of a meeting. That one has no graphics. You are going to see that. Then let's go to the purpose of minutes. The purpose of minutes. So the first purpose, it is to provide a written account of a meeting. To provide a written account of a meeting. The ones in Parliament are so important that they have the Hansard. Everything is recorded verbatim, yeah? To provide a written account of a meeting. The next one is for future reference. For future reference. So if somebody says, I'm not the one who was told to do this and this, you can go back to the minutes and show them that you are the one you should be held to account for future reference. Then to facilitate the follow-up to facilitate the follow-up of any decisions or resolutions passed. To facilitate the follow-up of any decisions or resolutions passed. To facilitate the follow-up of any decisions or resolutions passed. Any questions about the purpose of minutes? So those are usually the short answer questions that you are asked. Give 2 advantages of minutes, something like that. So you have 4. Let's go to the components of minutes. Components of minutes. The first component, it is the title of the meeting, which includes the title of the meeting, which includes the name of the organization. It includes the name of the organization, together with the date, together with the date, together with the date, time, the date, time, and venue of the meeting, together with the date, time, and venue of the meeting. Then the members present, the members present, then the members absent, the members present, the members absent, then the confirmation of previous minutes, confirmation of previous minutes, confirmation of previous minutes, matters arising from previous minutes, matters arising from previous minutes. Then after this, you have the new business, the business that you'll be discussing during the meeting, the reason why you have called the meeting. So you remember when I was giving the standard agenda items, I told you before correspondence and after matters arising, you can fix any new business. So the new business. Then after that, you have A or B, any other business. And then you have the date and time of the next meeting. The date and time of the next meeting. So let me type. I'm typing in the message board. I'm typing in the message board your assignment. The first one, look at the message board, the assignment that we are going to discuss before our next class or before we start the next session. That is the first question. Yes. The first question is, Njuguna is expected to chair a meeting of the Young Farmers Association. Advise him on what is expected of him. Advise him on what is expected of him. The second one, I'm going to have to put it on WhatsApp because it's very detailed. I can't type it now. Anyone with questions, any questions, Suggestions. I remember my assignment notices. I have to give examples of notices, including the ones with graphics. Then I'll send you a questionnaire minutes. You attempt it so that we discuss it before we go to the next topic, which will be reports. Any questions? Yes, the answers is the responsibilities or the role of the chair. Very good. Mtu ashaanza assignment. Any other suggestions on how we can improve? Okay, we are done. Thank you for attending. You can now charge your gadgets for the next class. Thank you.
Me, I no go lie. When I see you, then I did die.